Hey racers, and welcome back to another live stream. Today's live stream is going to be a little bit different to what I normally talk about. Something that's probably only relevant for a very small few of you that follow me. I know there's a handful of guys that follow me that ride at a reasonably high level. Um, and so what I wanted to go through today is just share my experience and some tips for social media management, okay, Facebook management, how to deal with that whole thing, if it is a thing for you. So this is more so not for those of you that um, have a family and friends that support you on social media. This is for riders or guys that are at a level where people that know you than people that you know. Hey Daniel, hey Andrew. So I guess the first few problems that I've identified um, is social media is designed to grab your attention and to keep your attention. Okay, so everything that you see on social media, everything that comes up in your news feed is designed to be there specifically for you to be able to keep you scrolling through. Okay, and that's really how Facebook monetizes: is the more attention they can get from you, the more you're on the platform, the more you're going to see the adverts and things that come up on Facebook, which means the more money that they make. That's great for them, but it's not so great for you because it's sucking in all of your attention. So the things that you're going to see on social media are automatically engineered based on your behavior on social media. Okay, the photos that you look at, which posts you pay attention to, even if you don't like them or comment them, it's even just if you're reading them, if you stay on a specific screen for a long time. All that stuff's recorded through their algorithm. So that creates, it's got this special formula and spits out a whole heap of numbers and data on their side. And then what that means is the things that you're seeing in your social feed are specifically engineered and designed for you to grab your attention. Okay, so if you gave my phone to someone else, it's probably not going to grab their attention because everything on my newsfeed is designed to capture my attention based on my behavior on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever I am. So that's the same for you guys as well. So at the end of the day, that's the whole goal of Facebook. The goal of Facebook is not to help you. It's not for personal growth. It's not for you to be a better person. It's not for you to hit your goals. The whole goal is just how can we keep this person engaged on our platform for the longest period of time? And then it gives you posts to be able to do that. So again, that's great for them, but it's not so great for you because you're getting sucked into this machine and just watching, 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 watching. And that's what it wants you to do. You might think that you're choosing to go on there, but a lot of the time we're just doing mindless scrolling, going through news feeds, and not really getting anywhere, just wasting a whole heap of time, giving them our attention. Um, this was definitely a problem for me when I started on social media. So when I was racing, I finished up racing. Oh, what year would it be now? I don't even know, to be honest. Might have been 2013, 14, 15. Um, they were that might have been when I finished up. I can't even remember the exact. And actually, no, probably earlier than that, maybe 2011, 2012. Anyway, social media wasn't as big as, definitely wasn't as big as what it is now. Hey, Dale. So it wasn't as big of a problem. But the problem I found when I first started coaching, so 2014, 2015, when I started with social media and building up a social media presence and putting out content and all that sort of stuff, is it started taking over my life. It's like I'd go out to dinner with my partner. I remember specifically going to Hillary's, and we went out for this to dinner at this restaurant called Hurricanes. It's like a meat place, and I was just on my phone all night. Literally, I had emails coming in. I was getting back to emails. I was checking my Facebook posts. I was seeing how many likes I got, how many views I've got on my videos. There was people commenting. I was getting back to those people. People messaging on Instagram, or people liking stuff on Instagram, or reacting, or whatever it was at the time. And I was just like addicted to this thing. Okay. And so you get to the end of the night, and number one, I haven't spent any time with my partner. But number two, I haven't really gotten anywhere, right? I've just been on social media scrolling through, looking at random shit, and it's not a productive thing. It's not pushing me forward in any way. Um, so that's the first thing that the first problem. The second problem is it affects your mental state and a productivity. Hey Riley, your mental state and productivity to a degree. And what I mean by this is when you get to a point on social media where there's people that know you but you don't know them, that's where things start to get a little bit cloudy, and all the, I guess, the positive side of social media starts to disappear a little bit. When you first start out on social media and you're posting and that, or if it's just you, personally on your personal page, it's probably just your friends and family and people that you met at school, people that you go riding with, and everyone thinks you're a legend, okay? And everyone supports your stuff, everything that you post up. When you get people that know you and you don't know them starting to follow you, it's the other way around. And so what happens here is you get people starting to comment on stuff and voice their opinion on things that you post up when they don't know you from a bar of soap. They don't know your family life. They don't know what you do every day. They don't know what you're going through. You don't know your personal circumstances. They don't know what's happening at work. They don't know what you've done previously. They don't know anything. They're just basing their whole opinion off you, off one post or one thing that you've said. And so what happens with that is you attract people that hate your guts, and want to see you die. And they'll try and make your life hell. They will comment on your videos. They will send you messages and tell you you're an idiot, that your stuff doesn't work, that whatever it is that they post up, that you're a shit rider, you're over the hill, you're a shit coach, you're a shit this, you're a shit that, your stuff doesn't work, you're gone, you're not going to get the results anymore, you're a has-been, you're a wannabe, whatever it is, you're always going to get these people. Again, the more people that you have that know you and you don't know them, the higher the likelihood that you have of that type of hate coming through. And so in the early days for me, that stuff would really get to me, especially where I'm transitioning from everyone supporting and liking what you're doing to now you're getting these people following you that don't know you from a bar of soap, starting to voice their opinion. Those things get to you, and they start to affect your day, and they affect your mindset, and they affect your confidence. So you wake up every day, and the first thing you see is some hate message from some muppet from overseas that's never even met you before telling you you're a dickhead. Sometimes those things start to affect you, especially in the earlier days where you're not used to copying that type of criticism. And I know that was definitely the case for me. It's like sometimes I'd wake up and see something in the morning and I'd stew on that for the rest of the day. And everything I'd be thinking about was this stupid comment from some person that I don't even know. Third problem, there's limited to no benefits from social media. If you're a high level rider, yes, you might have sponsors. It might help you with sponsorship, media, that thing. That's the positive side that comes from social media. But in terms of just scrolling through the news feed all day and having a look at everything, there's really no positive that comes from that, right? Seeing what's going on with COVID, okay, seeing what protests there are around the world, seeing people that have died, not saying those things aren't important, but consuming those things day in, day out, in every spare minute that you have throughout the day, just doesn't help you in any way to move your life forward. It doesn't help you to move towards your goals. So you could spend an hour scrolling through social every day. That's an hour that you've just spent going nowhere. Okay, if it's an hour every day, that's 7 hours a week. That's almost a whole working day. Okay, for a 40-hour work week, that's almost a whole working day that you spent going nowhere. So when people say they got no time for training or no time for this, no time for that, it's like, well, you got time. You're probably just spending it doing things that aren't productive, like scrolling through the social feed. So that's when you get to the end of the day and you feel like your brain's fried and you feel like you've done a whole heap of stuff, but you haven't really gone anywhere. That's probably because you spent a part of that scrolling through social media, which doesn't push you forward in any way. So what I want to give you now is tactics for each of those three areas that I feel are probably the biggest problems are going to help you the most, especially from a rider's perspective. So if you're a rider and you're spending all of your time on social media or a lot of your time on social media throughout the day, that's time you could have been spent training, time you could have spent watching riding footage, time you could have spent in the shed working on the bike, time you could have spent working on technique or skills. It's time you could have spent doing active recovery or foam rolling or getting a massage or relaxing or meditating or sleeping extra. So it's opportunity cost, right? It's like if you want to be the best rider you can be, that you need to be spending your time on the things that are going to make you the best rider, not time on things like social media that are wasting your time and not moving you forward. Second reason for riders is if it's affecting your mental state. So I've seen this from higher level riders. Two riders that I've seen Joey Savacci and I've seen Ken Roxon react to comments on their social media. Now, obviously, they have quite reasonable social followings, and they have a lot of people that know them that they don't know. And I've seen both of them react to certain comments in their social feeds. And you can tell as soon as they react to negative feedback on their social feed that mentally that's sucking them in. They're thinking about that. It's bothering them. That's why it's bothered them enough for them to want to react and want to get some sort of witty reply or comeback back in the comments. And when you're reacting all the time, that's when you know you've got to someone. And that's what they're trying to do. Those people are trying to get to you, get a reaction from you. So if you're getting sucked into that stuff, that's affecting you. Okay, it's not just the 2 seconds it took you to post up the post, it's the hours that you spent thinking about the post, the hours that about what you're going to write, the hours thinking about what they're going to write. And then when you post back, it's the hours thinking about how they're going to respond and how they said that. And it ruins your whole day. Okay, then your training shit, your writing shit, your relationship shit. Okay, everything else starts to go down the shitter because you've had this one negative experience during the day. And then, like I said, the third one, limited to no benefit. So it comes back to what I just said, it's opportunity cost. If you're spending an hour a day scrolling through social feeds, and I'll show you in a minute how to find out how much time you're spending on social. If you're spending an hour a day scrolling through social media, that's an hour you could have spent writing, an hour you could have spent training, an hour you could have spent doing technique work, an hour you could have spent on doing bike setup, getting your bike ready, prepping your gear, doing other things that are going to actually move the needle forward for your racing. Not things that are going to either hold you in the same spot or even worse, like most of social media, put you in a bad negative state rather than in a good mental state. So what are some tactics to tackle each of these? Please give me a like, guys, on the video if you're on here, because I know there's a few new guys on here that I have not seen before. If the content is somewhat helpful, please give me a like. I know it's only going to be relevant for a smaller percentage of you guys. So tactics, how have I dealt with social media over the years, especially if things are growing? So I'm definitely not the biggest, the most followed person, but there's probably about, I would say there's about 7,000 people on Facebook. There's a few thousand on email on that, and then there's Instagram and YouTube and all that. So it's probably about 10,000 all in all. I don't know 10,000 people. So there's definitely a lot of people on there that know me and I don't know them. So obviously the bigger that gets, the more criticism and more hate I'll be copying. And that's the same for you guys as well. So how do I deal with that? First thing is I delete the apps. Okay, so again, Facebook and social media is designed to get your attention. That's the whole goal of it. Those little red icons that you see on Facebook that tells you you've got a notification, designed to get your attention. Okay, it's in bright red, designed to get your attention. It's a danger color. When you go on social media, there's notifications everywhere. Okay, there's things coming up in your feed that are designed specifically for you to grab your attention and keep you on there based on your behavior on social media. That's what it's designed for. The whole thing is designed like a drug. Okay, it's designed to reel you in and then to keep you in. That's why you get the notifications on your home screen coming up all the time. You get the notifications on the Facebook app. Okay, you get notifications in the app. There's notifications for fucking everything because they're trying to just get your attention any way that they can. So the only way to do that is, it's like, I guess if you're coming off drugs, I've never been on drugs or come off drugs, but I imagine this is what it would be like, is if you're a heroin addict or a crack addict, the best way to get off crack is don't buy any crack and don't have it around you. Because if you don't have it around you, you're not going to be tempted to go back on it. If you're an alcoholic, don't have alcohol around you. That's probably the first step. I've never been to a 12-step program, but I'm assuming that's going to be part of the process. Don't have alcohol, okay? Don't have it in your area. It's the same with social media. If you know that your finger automatically, like, think about this, okay? A lot of us have social media, and we don't even have to look at where the icons are. We know exactly where that Facebook icon is. Our fingers are going to the buttons before the buttons have even loaded up. We're waiting for the buttons to come up, and those buttons come up pretty fucking quick if you've got an iPhone or a Samsung or any recent phone, right? That's what happens. Bang, 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 bang. Our fingers already go to where the buttons are before the buttons have even loaded up, before the buttons are even ready to be pressed. So if we know that that's a drug, if we know we get sucked in, if we know we automatically go into our phone and click on emails or click on Facebook or click on Instagram or whatever it is that gets us sucked in, A few easy things. Number one, delete the app. You won't get any notifications. You're not going to see the app there, and you'll see how much time you actually waste on Facebook and how habitual it is when you delete the apps and don't have them on your phone. I'm not saying to delete them permanently, just get rid of them and see what happens. You'll find you have a lot more spare time, and you'll realize how habitually, every time you have a spare second of the day, you jump straight into that Facebook app or social media app. The other thing that you can do is if you want to keep the apps on there, get rid of the notifications. So for my phone, because I use it a lot for what I do with coaching and content, sometimes it gets a bit hard downloading and reloading. It's like, because I'm putting out a fair bit of content. So what I've done is I've taken all the notifications off of Facebook and Instagram. So on my home screen, I never get notifications of anything. It never drags my attention. So when I'm doing my work, my phone's not bing, 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 bing. I also put my phone on silent and sleep mode. So my phone's not dinging all day with ding, 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 with all these notifications trying to grab my attention. But a great way to start is do a detox. Delete the apps. Get the apps off your phone for a week. You will survive without it. And that's what you know. When you can't delete the app and you think you're going to miss out on life without those apps, that's when you know you've got a bit of a problem there with addiction. Okay? Because addiction, the way you can tell if you're addicted to something or not is when you're not addicted, you can come off it. You can go, yeah, I'm not going to do that for a week. Okay? Like, I guess an alcoholic. You know you're not an alcoholic. You can come off alcohol for a bit and then have alcohol. You know that you're not an alcoholic. If you keep having alcohol and you have this impulse to always have alcohol, then you know that you've got a problem. And that's the same with social media. Okay, we don't look at it as an addiction, but it is. If you can't go a week without social media, then you've got an addiction, and it's a problem. That's when you know that social media is controlling you rather than you being in control and using social media. So delete the app. Do a 7-day detox. Delete all the apps off your phone, all the social media off your phone. It'll be a whole new world for you. You'll probably feel a lot better as well. Another one that I use is set times each day to check social. So that's what I do is I set specific times throughout the day where I check my messages and notifications, and I do them all at once. First of all, it's just from productivity. Instead of spending all day scattered and constantly checking notifications because my phone's going off or things are coming in, I check specific times each day to do notifications and messages or content or Facebook or whatever it is. And that way I get a lot more done in a shorter period of time, and I'm also distraction free for the rest of the day. Another way of doing it is check social media in the afternoons. Okay, so what this means is if you see a shitty message in the morning that pisses you off, it's going to affect you for the rest of the day, right? It's going to affect your productivity, your mindset, your enthusiasm, your confidence, all the rest of it. So if you check it on later in the day, you get a good solid first few hours at the start of the day to make some progress on your goals, whatever that is, riding, racing, training, work, whatever's important for you. They're the best tips that I've got. In terms of Facebook time, you'd be surprised how much time we all spend on Facebook. It's probably a lot more than what you think. Okay, you might think it's only a minute here or there, but that's the whole goal of the social platform, to drag your attention in and to keep it there. So, how do you check how much time you're actually spending on Facebook? To check your I just did this before we got on to make sure it's all, I've got up-to-date info for you guys. If you want to check how much time you spend on Facebook on the app on your phone, go to menu, okay, on your home screen, go to menu, the 3 lines at the bottom, go to settings and privacy, and then click on your time on Facebook. And so when you click on your time on Facebook, that will tell you, then there's another button there which will tell you your daily time that you spend on Facebook. Say half hour, an hour, 2 hours. That's going to tell you exactly how much time you're spending on Facebook, not what you think you're spending on Facebook, what you're actually spending on Facebook. So that will tell you for Facebook. If you just want to have a look at overall screen time, if you've got multiple apps you use like Instagram, Facebook, email, and all that, and you want to know what you're spending on all of that sort of stuff, then if you've got an iPhone, I don't know for Samsung, but for iPhone, go to settings, go to screen time, and then go to see all activity. And that will give you a breakdown of how many minutes you spend on your phone every day, but it will give you a breakdown of where you spend those minutes. Was it Instagram? Was it Safari? Was it Facebook? Was it email? Was it on phone calls? It will tell you exactly where that time is. Now, when you look at that time, for most of you, you're probably going to be shocked at how much time you actually spend on there. So even if you're a higher level rider, if you're at that point where more people know you than you know them, and you're posting up content, and that's part of what you need to do as a rider or a racer, that's fine. But it doesn't take that long to post up a Facebook photo or a story or a video. Probably take you a minute to be able to do that, right? So if you're spending half an hour, 2 hours on Facebook and they're the numbers you're seeing on there, then you know that you need to cut that back. Okay, if you want to use that time in other areas, that's how you know. Are you using social, or is social starting to use you? And that's what happens. We go on Facebook to post something, and then the newsfeed catches our attention, and then before you know it, an hour's gone, and you're like, shit, where did the last hour go? Who's had that experience before? Probably a few of us. So that's the strategies. Okay. As a summary, please give the video a like. It would be great if other riders could see this that are getting sucked in by social media, that would like some help to be unsucked. So summary for today: Facebook, social media in general, is designed to grab your attention and to keep your attention. Okay, that's what it's designed for. It's like a drug. It's designed to suck you in. Second, it'll affect your mental state and productivity. When you get to a stage where there's more people that know you than you know them, then you're going to have people that come up and post on your social media, that send you hate messages and all that sort of stuff. And the more people that follow you, the more you're going to get. You're going to get more positive messages, but just as a law of numbers and probabilities, you're going to get more people that hate you as well. So more criticism. You do build up a thicker skin with this over the years if you've been dealing with it for a bit, but still, it's not something you want to be consuming all the time. People telling you that you're a knob when they don't even know you. So that's the second thing. Third thing is there's limited to no benefits. Okay, yes, there's the media benefit to being out there, grabbing people's attention yourself, promoting your riding, sponsorship, all that sort of stuff, and that's great. But other than that, there's really no benefits to social media. Seeing the news all the time, seeing news updates, seeing where your mates are having lunch, all the other crap that comes up on Facebook, it's not moving you forward. Okay, it's probably at best keeping you in the same spot. At worst, it's definitely dragging you down, and I'm more towards the dragging you down side. That's why I limit my time on it. What are the tactics to get on top of this stuff? Delete all the apps from your phone. Okay, check them once a week, or have a time each day that you check your social media, and just use that allocated time, and then get rid of the apps. And like I just said, check your Facebook time. Have a look how much time you're actually spending on Facebook, and see where you're spending that time. Okay, that's the real test, is find out where you're actually spending your time, not where you think you're spending your time, where you actually are. And so I'm interested to know, guys, once we get off this live stream, I want you guys to check, and I'd love you to post up below, if you don't mind sharing, is how much time are you spending on social media each day? So if you've got an iPhone, go to settings, screen time, see all activity. If you just want to see for the Facebook app, go menu, settings and privacy, your time on Facebook. But I'm interested to know how many minutes you're posting up. So if you're willing to share and you're not embarrassed, please post up below in the comments. I'd love to see how much time you're putting there. And then that's also how much time you can spend in other areas. Spend time with your family, spend time training, spend time riding, spend time working, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. So go and have a look, come back to the video, post up below in the comments, and we'll go from there. Cool. See you guys.